local mysteries, those stories that get passed down generation to generation, they always seem to have this, I don't know, a certain pull to them.
Yeah, definitely.
Today, we're diving into one of those stories, and it all starts with a picture book called The Whale.
Oh, interesting.
The book opens with this newspaper headline that just screams, mystery, giant whale or giant hoax. And get this, the whole story, the whole thing, is told through these beautiful black and white drawings.
Wow. So right away, the way the story's told visually, that's what pulls you in.
Exactly.
We're talking about The Whale from 2016, and it's a creation by this husband and wife team, Vita and Ethan Murrow.
Yeah.
Vita's the writer, Ethan handles the illustrations.
And I think it's important to note it's not your average children's book. It's this really beautiful example of how pictures alone can tell a full story.
Yeah. When we say visual literacy, we're talking about how the story is understood just through those images, through the characters' expressions, their actions, even how the pictures are laid out on the page.
Exactly. And in this deep dive, we're going to unpack this book. We're going to explore the story as it unfolds in the illustrations and really get to the heart of what this story, this local legend, is all about. And at the center of it all are these two young people who get pulled into this mystery from the past.
Right from the start, The Whale sets up this really intriguing puzzle. The book opens with a newspaper clipping, an article from 50 years ago, about these two kids who claim they saw this giant spotted whale, but there's a catch.
Oh.
Their sighting, it was never corroborated.
Oh.
So right off the bat, you've got this unsolved mystery hanging over everything.
Okay, so let's get into the mystery, into the present day, and meet the young explorers who take this on. They're not named in the book, which I think is interesting in itself, but through Ethan Murrow's detailed artwork, you see a girl and a boy. They're described as tenacious preteens and industrious, so right away you know they're not messing around.
Something that really jumps out is how they start out. Both of them, at first, are investigating this old legend totally independently, driven by, I think, that pure curiosity we all have, especially as kids, to figure things out.
And they come prepared. I love how the illustrations show the boy with all this sound recording equipment.
Oh, I can just imagine him trying to pick up maybe some mythical whale song.
Exactly. And the girl, she's got her camera ready to capture the definitive proof. They're coming at this, even at their age, with this almost scientific mindset.
Endearing, isn't it?
Yeah. We also get some visual cues. The boy's described as lanky, long-haired, and light-skinned, while the girl is bespectacled, short-haired, and slightly darker-skinned.
It's subtle, but important in a book that's all visuals. You can follow their separate journeys so clearly, understand their different approaches even before they meet. And the description of them as possibly these quirky, nerdy kids finding common ground, I don't know, just adds to the charm.
It does, and it all leads up to this key moment, their collision. Out there on the water, each on their own track, their little boats bump into each other.
Oh, I bet there's some initial frustration there, like a, hey, watch out kind of moment.
Definitely. But this is where their resourcefulness kicks in. Instead of letting that annoyance fester, you see them realize, and Ethan Murrow does such a good job showing this, that maybe, just maybe, two heads are better than one. Two sets of eyes, two sets of ears, two sets of equipment might be the key.
It's a beautiful transition, isn't it? You see conflict turning into this partnership, which I think is at the heart of this book's message. Two different perspectives working together, they often lead to discoveries you'd miss going solo.
And boy, does their teamwork pay off. They experience this incredible, magical sighting of the great spotted whale. The book really brings out the wonder of this moment.
I can only imagine.
And there's a baby whale alongside it. It's just magical.
This is where the legend, for them at least, it stops being just a story. And remember, all their prep, this is where it becomes crucial. They immediately start recording, snapping pictures, they're documenting everything. They turn this fleeting moment into something tangible, something they can use to prove what they saw.
It speaks to, even for kids, that core idea of how we discover things. You keep searching, even when there's no proof, and when you find something, you document it.
Exactly.
But the story doesn't end there. They come back to shore, and there's this amazing twist. It turns out the two kids who saw the whale 50 years ago, they were their grandparents. Talk about a family secret coming to light.
This connection to their family, it adds such depth to the whole narrative. A local legend becomes a personal history tied to their own roots. That sighting, the one that was never corroborated, it suddenly takes on a whole new meaning. It really brings the whole story full circle.
So let's get into some of the themes that the whale explores. The most prominent, I think, is the idea of mystery and legend itself, that human need to understand the unknown, the power of these local stories.
Definitely. And that fascination with the unknown, that's what drives this whole plot forward. Then you have the theme of perseverance and determination in these kids. They don't just hear a story and shrug it off. They go out, face the ocean with a goal in mind.
And we have to mention collaboration and teamwork, right? Their initial frustration after that boat crash quickly turns into this understanding that they're stronger together, combining their skills, their viewpoints. That's what leads to their discovery. Again, it really drives home the idea that working together, embracing different perspectives, can lead to breakthroughs you wouldn't achieve alone.
Absolutely. And that reveal at the end about their family history, it makes this more than just a kid's adventure.
It does.
It speaks to how families, how stories, big or small, they echo through generations. They shape how we see ourselves, how we see our place in the world.
Visually, this book is stunning. It captures the wonder of the ocean and whales so beautifully. Even in black and white, Ethan Murrow gets across the majesty of these creatures, of the sea itself. You turn the pages and you can feel the immensity of it all. If those visuals, the ocean scenes and the whale, if they really resonated with you, there are other books out there that capture marine life in incredible ways.
The detail in those illustrations is incredible. It really pulls you in. And don't forget their efforts to prove what they saw. It underlines this theme of evidence and proof. They don't just want to believe, they want to confirm to have something concrete. That's a really important element here.
I think it's also fascinating to look at some of the subtler themes at play. You could argue there's a message about following your beliefs, even when people doubt you. And there's a definite sense of hope that keeps them going. Inner strength and passion are definitely driving these two.
If you think about it, their whole endeavor is fueled by a sense of play and creativity, wouldn't you say? They take this local legend and turn it into their own adventure. There's drama in the mystery itself. Will they find the whale, won't they? And their discovery is so inspirational. Plus, you see hints of friendship forming after that initial bump, literally. And of course, art itself is a theme, given how the whole book relies on visual storytelling.
You're also pushed to think about the reliability of eyewitness accounts, especially with the story of their grandparents. And you wonder about the feasibility of a giant spotted whale existing in the first place. The old newspaper articles, they bring in the idea of media literacy, making you think about how stories are presented, believed. And knowing Vita and Ethan Murrow's interest in the environment, you can sense this underlying theme of respecting nature.
It really is amazing how many layers you can find in what might seem like a simple children's book.
It really is. Now, if The Whale has you intrigued, there are other books out there that might appeal to you. If it's the whales themselves that captured your attention, you might enjoy The Snail and the Whale, which also features a gentle giant of the sea, or if you want to see a whale, which is all about that patient anticipation of trying to spot these amazing creatures.
And since The Whale focuses on this almost mythical creature, you might be drawn to stories about other elusive beings, like Bigfoot or the Loch Ness Monster. These stories tap into that same sense of wonder, that fascination with the unknown.
And with the strong emphasis on the two explorers working together, books about teamwork might be up your alley. Think about classics like Swimmy, where a group of small fish team up to overcome a bigger problem, or even Rosie Revere Engineer, where perseverance and collaboration are key.
If it's the wordless picture book format that grabbed you, check out the Journey trilogy by Aaron Becker. It's another beautiful example of how a rich story can be told solely through pictures.
Speaking of the creators, let's talk a bit about the people behind The Whale. Vita Murrow, the writer, is a remarkable individual. She's a writer, a visual artist, a mother. Her background is interesting too. Born in central India, spent her childhood in Minneapolis. The way this story comes together is a testament to the creative partnership of its authors, Vita and Ethan Murrow.
Her background in education is really fascinating. She's been a teacher and educational consultant, even worked in the films department at Sesame Workshop. To top it off, she also directed a school literacy program. And if that wasn't enough, she's also a filmmaker and motion media artist.
And she's known for her feminist retellings of fairy tales like High Five to the Hero and Power to the Princess. The Whale was her first children's book, and it was even nominated for the Philip Greenway Medal. Currently, she's the director of the Greater Boston Jewish Coalition for Literacy.
As for Ethan Murrow, the illustrator, he's equally accomplished. He's known for incredibly detailed drawings, and his work has been shown internationally. He grew up on a sheep farm in Vermont and has a background in fine arts.
Ethan's art often delves into historical narratives, and he creates these massive wall drawings and murals. Born in Massachusetts in 1975, he now lives and works in New York City. He's also a professor at SMFA at Tufts. And it's worth highlighting that all those illustrations in The Whale, they're done in black and white, using only pencil. The level of detail is just stunning.
The Whale was actually Vita and Ethan's first children's book together, but they'd collaborated before. The book was inspired by their 2007 short film, Dust, which explored environmental themes. You can see their filmmaking background influencing how they tell stories in their books. They've done other books together too, like Zero Local, which shows their creative connection.
So, wrapping up our deep dive, it's clear The Whale is so much more than a simple picture book. It's a captivating story told through beautiful black and white illustrations, drawing you into this mystery of this giant spotted whale.
The book really emphasizes the power of working together as those two young explorers discover how much more they can achieve as a team. And that reveal about their family's connection to the original whale sighting, it brings this incredibly heartwarming and meaningful layer to their adventure.
With very few words, The Whale manages to spark the imagination. It relies on visuals to tell the story, which makes it accessible to readers of all ages. Sometimes the most powerful stories are the ones we see, not just read.
This deep dive into The Whale leaves us with something to think about. What about the local legends in your communities? How might those stories, even if they're seen as just folklore, connect you to your own family, to the places you call home? What unproven stories might be hiding in your own background? And what might you discover if you decided to do a little investigating yourself?